What's good, YouTube? Check out my website at analysisplayground.com. There you can find NBA tributes, NBA highlights, and NBA rookie analysis, and also NBA breakdowns exclusively on analysisplayground.com. Thanks, and make sure you like on Facebook too, analysisplayground.com. Show as much support as you can for my channel. What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Quinn Wade coming to you with that Portland Trail Blazers video. Damian, video game Dame, and CJ McCollum, the crossover, the step back, the pull up cash. This team is very good. They got to the second round last year, I believe. They have clutch players. They have ball handlers. They have players that can go for 30 any given night. They have the three-point shooters. They have a decent bench. They picked up Festus Ezeli, who's a decent big man that can dunk, rebound, and play with a lot of energy. The team is. I wish they would have got Enes Kanter, so that way they can have a person that can pick and roll and pop, dunk, layup, and shoot free throws and post up and then give them another 20-point scorer. That probably was their missing piece was Enes Kanter. They can get another guy that can score 20 points, draw double teams, and can dominate the game offensively. This team would have been elite. But OKC decided to match the offer. But I think Enes Kanter would have been huge if they would have picked him up and had him at the starting center or the starting power forward. Another person that can score, draw double teams, and post up and dominate the game and still have chances for the pick and roll with Damian Lillard and them to still score either way. Whether Ennis scores or CJ or Damian Lillard scores, it'd be harder to guard them if they had Enes Kanter. But they just still missing that one more piece. It's definitely either a wing player, which is a small forward, or a power forward. They can use another ball handler. They can use another 20-point scorer. Because remember, they got to go against the Spurs. They have to go against the Warriors. They have to go against the Clippers. They would have lost to the Clippers if it wasn't for Blake Griffin and Chris Paul going down. They was already losing the series, and they would have lost the series if they would have went against a healthy Clippers squad. So this team has a lot of firepower. They have a lot of versatility. They have a lot of shooters. They have a lot of playmakers to a certain extent, depending on who you call a playmaker, which is CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard. They can have the ball in their hands and create for others and create for themselves and still score at a high level and can take over games and get real hot, and they clutch. But the thing is that they still need that other scorer to put the ball in the basket to help take the pressure off them, to help the game come easier, to help them dominate more efficiently. Instead of taking a lot of high volume shots, they can take easier shots and be more relaxed and be more comfortable and get easier buckets, which helps the team shoot a better percentage, and that's less turnovers and that's more assists, which is better pace and better ball movement offense. So Enes Kanter would have been huge if they would have got him, but they didn't. Now they got to find another player in the future while Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum is still young and they not even in a prime yet. They need to find that piece very quickly so this team can be a contender. They lost LaMarcus Aldridge, which was a huge piece to this offense and how they operate, but they still was able to make the playoffs without him. So that's a huge accomplishment to Terry Stotts to be able to make the playoffs without a superstar, potentially a superstar player in LaMarcus Aldridge, but he's definitely an all-star because he was on an All-NBA team. So to replace an All-NBA player is hard to do, but they still made it to the playoffs. Now we're going to see how far can this team get because Damian Lillard signed the extension and so did CJ McCollum. So we're going to see how long can this team stay together and how far they can get in the playoffs, and can they find that missing piece to take them to the next level and be a contender in the West, because right now they're a playoff lock to me, but I think they're getting passed up in the future by teams like the Lakers, teams by like the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New Orleans Pelicans, because Buddy Hield showed that he can be another go-to scorer to go alongside Anthony Davis. He's a knockdown three-point shooter, and he's a good mid-range scorer. So there's a lot of teams in the West that's on the come-up, and they could take Portland's spot as the next big thing that's coming up, because if they never find that other piece or those other pieces, they can get passed up by other teams. And don't forget the Utah Jazz is another team that's very young, and they have Gordon Hayward, They have Rudy Gobert developing. They have Derek Favors developing. They got George Hill, Joe Johnson, and players like that. So with that being said, Utah is another team in the West that's up and coming and could be a dominant team in the West. Same with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Pelicans. So it's not guaranteed that the Portland Trailblazers is going to win the championship because you got to remember, San Antonio Spurs is still young. The Golden State Warriors are still young. The Clippers is young enough, and that's four teams that they have to pass now that they're not close to passing yet. So then you have the up and coming teams that's still growing and getting better and developing. Denver is another team with Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, and Jokic and those players like that. So Portland is on the brink of being a contender, but they have to do it fast before they get lapped up. They're one trade away. They're one free agent away for being a contender, but they have to do it before it's too late. I know CJ and Damian Lillard is real young, but you have a ceiling that you have to get to before it's too late. Then you fall back to the bottom, just like the Celtics did. They had that ceiling, then they fell back to the bottom, and now they're back. But they still haven't became a contender to me because they still missing another piece too. So that's where we're stuck at with this Portland team. They have two all-star caliber players. They have two clutch players and two dominant players. But now they need that third player and that fourth glue guy. They missing another go-to player and another glue guy to take them to that contender level. They was almost there, but Wesley Matthews got injured and LaMarcus Aldridge left. They was almost there, and now they have to go back to get into that level, and then we'll see how far they can go. But right now, they're a first-round exit team. Only reason why they passed is because Chris Paul and Blake Griffin got injured, and Steph Curry was a little banged up, so he missed a couple games, and then they lost that series quick when he came back. So they're a couple pieces away from being a contender, but they're definitely a playoff team. So we're going to have to see what this team is going to be, and can they find that glue guy and that go-to player before it's too late. Then they're going to have to rebuild again. But they have Damian Lillard locked up. They have CJ McCollum locked up, and now they just have to hurry up and find the pieces so they can contend for a title. Let me know what you guys think. I had them winning 45 to 47 games this year, being the 6th or 7th or 5th place team. Almost there, but not there just yet. They could finish 8th, depending on how hard the East. The East is hard now, and depending on how they beat the West team, they could be a 7th or a 6th team. Last year they finished pretty high. I think they finished 5th, but that's probably expecting a little bit too much for them to do it again, because more people know what they're going to do. More people can scout for them, and more people going to prepare for them because they seen it last year, and now they got to come back and show something different because people are expecting them now this year because they're not a surprise, and we know how they play, and we know their moves. Can they win enough games to be up there with the upper echelons of teams? So we're going to have to see. They're going to have a lot to prove this season, and they're going to probably have to make a trade, or they're going to probably have to pick up a free agent in the wintertime when they waiving players to be that glue guy to help them niche together some of their star lineups, because Miles Plumlee not going to cut it on a championship roster. Fessa Ezeli not a championship center to me as a starter because they had Bogut and stuff like that. They're going to need somebody to fill in those roles. And then a small forward position just not good enough. Evan Turner not good enough. Minu just not good enough yet. Noah Vonleh still hasn't developed to be dominant, or he's not even playing really that many games. So they have a lot of talent, but they still have to develop it to become a contender, or they're going to have to make trades and moves to get the talent quicker. So let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you guys think.